Okay. Amazing. Yes, as I mentioned, my name is Jordan. I joined Bridges for Enterprise in 2017 when I was a student at the university at New York University, and I started the chapter there and have been involved with the organization ever since. First as the president of the chapter there, supporting entrepreneurs in the incubation program, and then more recently, since 2020, I've been leading the entire global nonprofit. And it's been an absolute pleasure. We've seen multiple cohorts of passionate entrepreneurs come through the program. And it's been really a joy seeing all the different business models and the impact that everyone has been able to make. So yeah, it's really exciting every 6 months when we get to do these welcome events and introduce all the entrepreneurs and welcome them to the program. So yeah, just want to say a big thank you before we kick things off for being part of this journey with us. So maybe I'll just talk about the agenda for today really briefly. So we'll begin by providing a brief introduction to BfE. We have some people attending who may be a bit less familiar with who we are and what we're all about. And then I'll turn it over to Jason. He will be discussing the BfE Incubation Programme. And then we'll have some time for each entrepreneur to introduce themselves. We slotted 2 to 3 minutes for each entrepreneur, so please make your introduction a bit short. But we'll try our best to make sure everyone is represented. And then there's also going to be an opportunity to hear from an alumni who actually went through our program in the past. Her name is Jane. She works at a company called Toolkit iSkills, which is based in in Kenya. And then at the end of the program, we'll have an opportunity for Q&A. Although please feel free to drop your questions in the chat box throughout the session, and we'll try to address them later on. So with that, thanks again. If possible, it'd be great to already see who's on the call today. So if you want to just type your name and say hello in the chat box, I think that'd be really great, so we can see where people are calling from and who's actually in attendance. Awesome. So with that, very, very briefly, Bridges for Enterprise, we were founded in 2015 at the University of Cambridge as a small student association with the mission to support early stage social entrepreneurs in emerging markets and help them to expand their impact and grow their business model. And the idea was to do that by providing a free incubator/accelerator program, all run by volunteers who are passionate and talented university students, supported alongside professional mentors. And the program has evolved a lot since its origins, but the idea still remains the same. It's to bring 3 core stakeholders together, which is students, social entrepreneurs such as yourselves, and professional mentors, to kind of join hands in this mission to, create social and environmental impact and actually amplify it through even greater levels as by being a part of the program. And the entire program is done free of charge. It's all volunteer run, so none of us are paid for this endeavor. It's all just out of the generosity and interest in supporting these businesses. And that's the model as a whole. We do this globally by operating 5 different chapters. These chapters are completely run by students. They're based out of different universities. So as I mentioned, we were founded at the University of Cambridge in 2015, and then we expanded after that to Singapore and then New York, which is where I joined Bridges for Enterprise. And then more recently, we also expanded to Vancouver, and we opened a chapter in New Delhi, India. And all of these chapters, I would say, are between 30 to 50 students working in anywhere between 4 to 6 different teams. And those teams are the ones who actually support the social enterprises that come through the incubation program. And they also perform a variety of other tasks alongside just supporting the program as itself. And here you can see on the map some countries that are colored in here, so you can kind of see the footprint of where we've supported businesses in the past. This is slightly outdated, but you can still see we've had really quite a wide global impact. In the past, over 80% of the businesses that have come through the program have come from sub-Saharan Africa. However, we have also a pretty strong footprint in Asia as well as Latin America. And over the course of the history of BfE, we have worked with over 500 different students and professionals. We're quite proud of the amount of people who have come to volunteer together to support the organization. And we hope to continue making a bigger impact globally in the years to come by expanding to more chapters, which would then allow us to work with more fantastic businesses such as yourselves. So really briefly, this is a theory of change that we have. And as you can see, we have kind of broken it down into 3 core stakeholders, as I mentioned, that we try and create impact for. And what's interesting is that social entrepreneurs, which form the core of who we intend to serve through the program, they're kind of on the right-hand side, you can see what outputs they gain from being part of the incubation program. And then we hope that that leads to medium-term outcomes as a result of gaining customized business support, joining a global network, and then gaining connections to domain expertise and potential funding sources. And then ultimately that helps them become more financially sustainable in the long term and hopefully lead to a more inclusive and sustainable future. And then we also have this separate part of the theory of change, but also connected to it, which is focused on the impact we try to create for students and professionals, which is what you can see on the left-hand side. And I think it's quite just, yeah, like fantastic that we're able to kind of merge both areas into the kind of mission that drives the organization as a whole and what we do on the day-to-day. But again, our main focus is to continue to support the entrepreneurs because that's our kind of raison d'etre, our reason to exist. And yeah, this is something that we are guided by in our impact measurement process. So we have a impact measurement methodology, which is different metrics that we look at to showcase how we support businesses and how we actually measure the impact we create. With that, I think I've talked for long enough, so I'll turn it over to Jason, who I think is now joined the call. So Jason, if you don't mind sharing more details about the incubation program in and of itself, that would be fantastic.
Great. Yeah, thanks so much, Jordan. It's so wonderful to see people, not just, and from all over the world from your chat, and also not just the startup entrepreneurs, but also mentors I see that have registered and joined us. So welcome, everyone. And of course, people from the BfE team. So let me just give you a brief overview of the program that we have in store for the startups that have joined our program, this cohort. So this is a 3 to 4 month long per engagement program that you can see has been split into a couple of stages. So the first stage is the consulting stage and then moving on to finance advisory. And I'll go through in detail later what kind of thing you can expect from each stage. So this will happen in succession. And for each engagement, there are usually at least 3 touch points at which you, the students, teams, consultants, and the mentors who are the professionals who are also joining the working group will meet. So these will be the introduction calls, the mid calls, and then the end call. So the intro call is where you set the scope for the project, you agree on how you communicate, which is extremely important. Maybe one or more of you will be the point of contact for the student team as they continue to seek information from you and give you feedback or present ideas to you. And then the mid call where you kind of go through the progress, and then the final call where they will deliver or present the deliverables for the engagement. So throughout this whole process, I just want to emphasize that communication is key because there are many things that the student teams need to find out about you. And also maybe you have developments along the way in your business operations that you need to engage with the students about, so that they can incorporate that into their presentations in the end. So any issues you face regarding your ability to communicate with them should be informed. I mean, you should let them know about these issues as soon as possible, because they devote a lot of time to engage with you, and so the thing that we ask in return, of course, is that you let them know, because this disrupts a lot of processes internally if they don't know about anything that's happening on your side. And 3 to 4 months is quite quick, so it's important to let them know if you're facing any difficulty, and also therefore important to have a second point of contact maybe, so that they can get in touch with someone else also from within your team if there's something that's going wrong. So it's important also that apart from communication, that you are the ones, the startup entrepreneurs, to drive the engagement, because this is ultimately for you. So we at BfE serve as a resource for you to engage, for you to bounce ideas off, for you to check various things, for you to ask questions that, the business advisory questions. So we know that priorities are always changing. And so this is an important way for you to shape the engagement, to get most out of the program, or as much as possible that you can within the time period that we can offer. So a few things that we therefore cannot do. So what we do is we work with you to enhance, improve, expand something that you already have within your business plans. We aren't able to create an entirely new business plan for you. We can't develop new technology from scratch for you, because at the end of the program, it will be your team who has to manage that new tech, or has to maintain it moving forward. So that ultimately will not work, because it's not sustainable in the long run if we create something new and then the support doesn't come at the end. We also can't apply on your behalf to grants or act in your name in any way possible, because as we said, this BfE is more like a resource for you to lean on, rather than someone that acts on your behalf as like an employee. So it's important to kind of see how that relationship would work. And of course, this will be discussed along the way as you communicate with the student consultants, but also at the start when you do the scoping call. And after the program, the students will not be responsible for follow-ups. So after each 3-month period, after each stage in the program, the students will be able to follow up. But the mentors, you can continue reaching out to the mentors if you like, and see where that goes. So again, to emphasize that the driver's seat is very much occupied by you, the entrepreneurs, to make as much as you can out of this program. So now let me just go into some detail, not too much detail, in the next slide about the guaranteed engagements. So the consulting engagement is mainly about key strategic advice to core business areas, and the 5 are listed here on the page. And you can also find the details on our website as to what exactly constitutes growth, operations, marketing, and sales, etc. So for the consulting engagement, it's much more varied. And all startups that are here that have come through to our program will first have this engagement for 3 to 4 months, which is the one that you'll be having soon. So starting sometime this month, in the mid or later this month. Today, I will be, after this call, this welcome event, I'll be sending around an email to you, introducing you to the student teams that will be working with you for the consulting engagement. And so this is understandably quite varied. So we ask that startups choose one or work with the student consultants to define 1 to 2, but mainly one major area that the student consultants can work on. And the deliverables are also very varied because it depends on what exactly you would need. But that differentiates from the finance advisory engagement, which is the one that you will be starting in autumn. So after the summer break for the student consultants, and various teams start at different times. So the starting date for the finance advisory can be between August to October. But ultimately, it will still be around 3 months from the starting date. And the finance advisory engagement is mostly to get you investor ready to refine your pitch decks and any other relevant documents that you will need to prepare in order to face, someone who is investing or will potentially invest in your startup. So that's the difference between the two. There are some overlaps here and there between the two engagements. And the team, the student consultants that you speak to will be able to, kind of chart out, map out when would be best within our program for you to, go through or get different kinds of questions answered for the business. Okay, so these are the two guaranteed engagements. And then there are also optional engagements, which we have baked into the program as well. So these two, as you might have seen earlier, the legal and technical advisory will run in parallel with the consulting and the finance advisory. And all these details are in the terms of agreement you have signed and sent to us. They're also on the website. The main thing to emphasize here is that the legal advisory thing cannot be taken as legal advice because there are law students who have not qualified and therefore are not able to offer legal advice to you. But they can undertake legal research for you to map out the possibilities. So that's the main difference for the legal advisory. And for the technical advisory, in line with our broader kind of practice, not to create things from scratch for you so that the maintenance will be difficult down the road. The technical advisory team won't be able to create new tech from scratch. What they can do is to take existing designs, which can be a web thing, an app thing, or it could be a more physical thing. For example, once we had a manure spreader, and the tech team was to optimize the design for the manure spreader so that it could be lighter or it could distribute manure more efficiently. So a kind of engineering thing. So it could be either, depends on what the tech team is able to do at that time, the students that it can bring together for this engagement at the time. And so you'll be discussing this with them as well. So mainly something that already exists, but could be made more efficient or more, performing better. That is the scope of the kinds of engagement that we undertake. As for timeline for legal advisory and technical advisory, these two run concurrently with the consulting and finance advisory. It's a kind of opt-in thing. So you need to let us know if you will need any of these things. And then we will discuss, or the student teams who are involved with these two aspects will discuss internally and see how they can support you. So legal advisory happens throughout the year, but technical advisory has a very specific intake in the autumn. So they only start taking people in autumn and then they plan for the whole year. So you won't be able to do a technical advisory project right now, but you can, and there will be opportunity to engage and opt in come the summer. So July, August, for a tech advisory engagement that follows. Okay. So if you go to the next slide, we'll see, so these are also in the terms of agreement, I think, that these are the emails for you to contact. But of course, the first people you should contact are the teams that are engaging with you at that time. These are just general emails to email if you have any issues. generally that the team is unable to resolve, or if you're unable to get in contact with anyone on the student teams that are advising you at the time. Yeah. Or of course, you can also reach out to me and Jordan, but you all have my email anyway. You will do anyway once, again, once I send out the emails to kind of connect you with the student teams. Yeah. So this is my bit. I hope I was clear. And if you have any questions, we can answer that later.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Jason, for providing those details about the program structure. I hope it was clear, but there's opportunities for Q&A towards the end of the session. So if you have questions, please don't hesitate. Yeah, now I'll just present some exciting statistics from our most recent this cohort. So as you can see on the screen here, we have this graphic showcasing the data from the applications we received between April 16th and October 15th, which reflects the call for applications for this cohort. We received in total 133, which came from 32% of which are represented by female founders, coming from 35 different countries. Geographically speaking, Nigeria represented the bulk of the applications, followed by Kenya, Uganda, India, Malawi, and then other, which is about half. And then in terms of sectors, food and agriculture is quite high. The 42% of the applications came from that sector. And then education was number 2, water, sanitation, and waste management, healthcare, and financial services rounding out the top 5. I would say this set of data is relatively in line with what we've received in past cohorts. So not too many differences. I think something worth noting is that we received a higher percentage of female founders applying this time around, which was really positive to see. Definitely some variance on the countries as well. And you'll notice that the actual cohort makeup this time around, which we see here now on the screen, is even more diverse geographically than we normally have. So that's really exciting for us. And yeah, again, congratulations to all the entrepreneurs for making it into this cohort. It wasn't easy, as you can see, with all these applications. These startup recruitment teams at different chapters and at the global level had to go through multiple rounds of screening, interviews, and then a final review and voting process to come to this makeup of the 11 accepted social enterprises. So it's really a testament to your business model and the strength of your impact. And so we just want to commend you for getting accepted into the program. I think with this, I'm now going to turn it over to the entrepreneurs, actually, and we'll have 2 minutes to have each of you introduce yourselves really quickly and maybe state what it is your business focuses on. Jason, do you mind just like keeping track of the time and interrupting in case anyone goes over, so we keep track of time? Awesome, thanks. So yeah, maybe we'll get started working from the top left. So Adane, if you're in the room to represent Addie's Agro Processing.
Hello. Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
Hello.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you well.
Good afternoon. Okay, so I'm supposed to introduce myself and my business.
Yes.
Oh, okay. My name is Adane Uche, and I'm the founder and CEO of Addie's Agro Processing Limited. It's a food processing and packaging business based in Lagos, Nigeria, that provides families with healthier cooking ingredients and spices. Our aim is to ensure that families enjoy healthy, nutritious meal. They have no preservatives, no additives, just 100% herbs, vegetables, and spices. And we work with smallholder farmers in the eastern and northern part of Nigeria to make this possible. We have presence in 22 supermarkets in Nigeria, 2 in Liverpool, 2 in Manchester, and we got into Virginia, US last year. And we have plans of growing and a lot of things that we are working towards, hoping that by the end of this program that it will give us more clarity on how we have to use technology to drive growth. Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, thank you so much for introducing yourself and sharing more details about your business. Really excited to have you in the cohort. Maybe now we'll turn over to, yeah, you're welcome. We'll turn it over to Dabir from Concept Loop. If you're in the call, feel free to unmute.
Yeah, hi. Thank you so much. It's indeed a pleasure to be here. Thank you, Jason. Thank you, Jordan, and the entire BfE team. Hi, fellow entrepreneurs. So I'm Dabir Himani. I am the co-founder of Concept Loop. We are based in Karachi, Pakistan. Karachi is one of the 5th largest cities in the world and has a lot of informal housing. And our idea is really basis on that we redirect plastic waste, which is right now leaking in the oceans and the landfills, and we turn it into building materials. I'm an architect by education. So my co-founder in the call over here, Ali, we came together and we tried to have a solution that solves one problem, which is the plastic waste, and gives a solution to the other problem, which is the lack of housing and affordable housing, sustainable materials. And I'm really excited, and I speak for my team that we are honored to be here as part of this cohort. Thank you so much.
Fantastic. Yeah, it's a pleasure to meet you and to have you as part of this cohort. Thank you a lot for all the great work you're doing. And yeah, looking forward to seeing how you progress through the next 6 to 8 months. Yeah, maybe now we'll turn it over to Anu from Sister Care, if you're on the call.
Yeah, I don't think she's on the call.
Okay, yeah, no worries. Then we'll move over to Johnson from Helg Scooters.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. So my name is Johnson Jayola from Nigeria. I'm the co-founder of Helg Scooters, and I am a recent graduate as well. So me and my team made this startup, Helg Scooters, as a micro-mobility startup with a vision to reduce Nigerians' over-dependence on fossil fuels, specifically in transportation. So we are targeting this problem by introducing a sharing network of electric vehicles into different communities in Nigeria, which are all connected together by a single mobile app. Electric vehicles like electric scooters, bicycles, cars, as long as there's electric before it, that's us. So we're doing this to reduce, as I said, the over dependence on fossil fuel, and also introduce a new transportation system that is exciting, that is reliable, and also flexible with the schedules of Nigerians. So presently we started in universities and estates, and now we are looking to expand our network into different cities in Nigeria like Lagos, Abuja, and Port Harcourt. Thank you.
Fantastic. Yeah. Awesome job. Awesome problem that you're tackling. And yeah, it sounds like you're doing a great job so far. And I hope that BfE can be a supportive resource to grow your business even further. Yeah, and maybe we'll turn it over now to Supriyo from Markson Business Services. I think I saw you earlier on the call.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. Good evening from India. This is Supriyo. I represent a youth-led organization named Markson. Basically, what we are doing, we are trying to democratize the power of digital technology across the communities. I mean, starting from the lower strata of the community. And we have innovated a fintech solution that actually tries to bring all the unbanked population, which is a huge population in India, under the coverage of banking and microfinance services. And the objective is to ensure that everybody has the fund for starting business. And we are a startup business from India, and we are really, really hopeful and thankful to Bridges for Enterprises for providing us this opportunity. Thank you so much.
Excellent. Yeah, it's wonderful to have your business be part of the cohort. Yeah, it's already you can see the variety in terms of the sectors and the geographies that we have represented here. So it's quite amazing. Wonderful. Maybe we'll go now to Mohammed from Meraki Academy.
Hello, hi. I am Mohammed Joza, the founder and CEO of Meraki Academy. What we are doing, we are providing a high quality training program to help anyone to become a software engineer and then have and get a job. The program consists of 5 months, then 8 months support to find a job. And the best part, you pay only 20% when you enroll in the program, and you pay the rest of 80% of the program when you get a job. We focus on anyone between 22 to 26 and without any experience or knowledge in coding. So it's okay because we start from scratch. Till now, we have done almost 7 cohorts with 92 employment rate. And we are trying to expand in more countries like KSA and UAE. And that's in a nutshell our story. Huge thanks for BfE, and wish to help also, not only get help from you, to help others and other startups with anything we can. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks so much for introducing yourself and sharing more about your business. It's great to have you. Yeah, now we'll move on to Wendy from Mobiva, if you're on the call.
Hi, thank you very much, Jordan. Hi, everyone. This is Wendy from Mobiva. I'm from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. So basically, Mobiva is a set of end-to-end collaboration tools that uses smart data to enhance communication, interaction, and engagement from anywhere, using a mobile app to improve workplace connectivity and increase community engagement among dispersed teams. Essentially, we're like the Uber for public emergency services and healthcare. On the back end, we improve collaboration running through command and control virtually on a cloud-based platform. This platform has been developed over a 4-year time period. Out of that, 2 years during the COVID period, we developed 10 different modules ranging from healthcare and emergency management to workforce management. And our client that we're serving today is Asian Development Bank, where we increase, or rather we track socioeconomic inequities for resettlement using AI. So we're primarily a technology company. Thank you very much. And thank you for this great opportunity from BfE. Great to meet you all.
Thanks so much, Wendy. Fantastic work you're doing. Yeah, appreciate the introduction and welcome to the cohort. Maybe now we'll move to Oluwatosin. I don't know if he's on the call, actually. I didn't see him.
Yeah, I
here.
didn't see her name there either.
Okay. Yeah. We'll move on to Charles then from 6KNM Self-Help Group in Kenya. Charles, are you able to unmute? I think I see you here.
Yes. Hello, great to be here. My name is Charles. I'm the Executive Director of 6KNM Self-Help Group. This is a community development organization that is based in Kenya. We operate from rural areas. Our work is mainly to fabricate, promote, and disseminate the improved cook stoves. Over 80% of families live with technologies in terms of cooking and heating, which are resulting to high indoor air pollution and resulting to high deforestation in those areas. So we are trying to help those families so that we can be able to adopt more cleaner, reliable, and quality energy-saving stores that are going to contribute much to financial savings, contribute much to wood fuel savings in terms of deforestation. We work in 5 counties in Kenya, and we really look forward to grow through BfE program so that we can be able to reach more households in Kenya and in the region. Thank you.
Excellent. Yeah, thanks a lot for introducing yourself and welcome to the cohort. Yeah, we have 2 more entrepreneurs introduced. So now we'll go back to Asia and have Christian unmute yourself if you're on the call from TEDA.
He registered, but I don't think he's here.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. No problem. Then the last entrepreneur to introduce themselves is Mahopal, representing Waste Bangladesh. Are you on the call?
Yeah, I think similarly. So they registered, but he didn't come. He didn't manage to come, I think.
Okay, yeah, no problem. The session is recorded, so we'll make sure to pass along the video recording at the end to them so they can at least meet all the other entrepreneurs that could make it today. And I understand that there's so many different time zones we're dealing with here. So yeah, really appreciate everyone being available for the session. So I think with that, I'm going to now move on to the next slide, which shares a video recording of an entrepreneur who was accepted in the autumn 2021 cohort of the incubation program. Her name is Jane. She works at a company called the Toolkit iSkills based in Nairobi, Kenya. They provide employment-related skills, helping youth gain access to the employment market in Nairobi. And yeah, she basically shares more details about what she gained from the incubation program, how it benefited her business. And we thought it would be nice for you all to hear from an alumni who went through the program, so that way you could better understand from the entrepreneur's perspective, you know, what it's actually like to go through this. So I think it will take around 10 minutes. So yeah, hopefully the video works, but bear with our technology for just a second. Can everyone hear, or it's, no, there's no sound. Okay.
No sound.
Maybe if I turn up the volume, it'll work a bit better, maybe. Let's see. Is it working now?
No sound.
No.
No sound. No sound.
I think, sorry for interrupt. I think if you stop share and share again, but when you share, you need to check the audio so it will, we can hear it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you for the tip. Yeah. Let me see if I can try to reshare
Click
that.
share in the bottom left. You should have it.
Okay.
Good.
Yeah, I'm gonna just put it into a separate tab and then now reshare my screen, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this will work well. Okay.
No, we still don't hear a sound. Should I try?
Yeah, if you can, that would be helpful. Sorry, I don't know what's happening, why there's no sound. I just made you co-host, Jason, so you should be able to share your screen and attempt to do this. Sorry for this. To introduce a very exciting portion of today's event, which is a panel with Jane, the founder and director of Toolkit iSkills. Toolkit iSkills is a startup that's currently in our incubation program. And so for all the founders, you'll get a chance to hear about their business and what it's been like actually being part of the program. And so moderating today's panel, we have Jill Robredo from our New York chapter. So I'll hand things over to Jill, if you don't mind introducing yourself and asking some questions to Jane.
Yeah, perfect. Thanks, Jordan. And hello, everyone. Congrats on being accepted to BfE's Incubation Program. So I'm Jill Robredo. I was the consulting director for BfE New York last semester, and we had the honor to work with Jane, which is also here in the call. So she's the founder of Toolkit iSkills. So just a brief background on Toolkit iSkills. They're a Kenyan-based social enterprise, which was founded in 2014 with the goal of disrupting youth unemployment. So they train the vulnerable youth and women and certify skills in different pillars. So they have the different pillars were organic farming, construction, online jobs, and digital skills, which we worked on last semester. So for our deliverables for Toolkit last semester, we worked on helping them build up a pitch deck for potential partners for their online skills and online jobs and digital skills pillar, and also helping them with the grant writing. So yeah, Jane can talk a bit more about that later. So Jane, if you could unmute yourself and give us like a quick overview of what Toolkit is and what you consider its social impact aspect to be.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jill. And thank you so much, the BfE team. I'm really excited to listen to all these other entrepreneurs who have given a snapshot of the great work they're doing from India, Nigeria, and I'm also and Zimbabwe. And I'm also very happy to see quite a number of young Kenyans who are in such key sectors. So congrats to all those new social enterprises. And Jill, let me start by saying that I was so impressed by you burning beyond the midnight oil over Christmas to get us our final engagement documents. You will be very happy to hear that the whole of last week, we actually used the very good pitch deck you gave us for online jobs, and we have done pitch decks for the other pillars. So it's been an exciting time during the break and in the first week of January. So to the BfE team and to the fellow social entrepreneurs on this call, I just want to give a short introduction. Jill has done justice about what we do, but essentially the Toolkit iSkills exists for one purpose, preventing or rolling back importation of skilled labor into Africa, because there is an employment crisis among youth in Africa in key sectors. And we are in those key sectors that Jill has mentioned. The only other one that we split out of construction because of its of the overwhelming need is renewable energy, especially skills for solar installers. So for the Toolkit iSkills, we focus on asking ourselves, why is Africa with all the growth importing skilled labor? Is it because the youth have not been trained, have not been given access to the right skill sets? And we find that there has been an overwhelming emphasis on academic mobility to universities, and that leaves millions of youth who don't transition from primary school to secondary school or from secondary school to tertiary institutions. So those are the youth we target, and we are not trying to put them into C-suite to do any C-suite jobs. We are targeting them to be part of the workforce that will power the continent, that will build the continent, and that they can be part and parcel of this immense growth that Africa is currently experiencing. So we have skilled welders to international certification that gives them access to jobs with investors who are building in the continent, because as many of you may know, a lot of the over 60% of Africa's workforce is in the informal sector, where skills are gained in the informal sector, not assessed, not recognized, not certified, and that creates a barrier for them to be able to access jobs in the formal sector, especially when they're dealing with international investors who are either building railways, airports, dams, or other infrastructure. and they are obliged by the laws of their countries to only work with certified workforce. So that's the space we are in. And it has been an exciting journey with Jill. So back to you, Jill and Tim.
Yeah, great. Thank you for the great introduction, Jane. I guess we could head on to the few questions that we have for you for this panel. So I think the second question which would be, I think you touched on this earlier about what we kind of did, but what were the main highlights or the most actionable insights that the BfE team or like our team has provided you that you would like to share with everyone in this call?
Yeah. So I think for the entrepreneurs who have joined the program this year, what I would like to share is that the BfE team is an exciting, very, very talented, very swift, very responsive team in terms of trying to understand a social enterprise and see how to support that social enterprise to scale. So in our case, as the Toolkit iSkills, one of the things that they helped us with that was really good was to look at what is the profile. When we've skilled a youth, how do they present themselves to the world? And we had a profile, but BfE looked at it, repackaged it, refined it, and from the aesthetics to the content, that changed, and we now have a new profile that is really useful, and I think it will look very good for the youth once they put it even on LinkedIn, because then that gives them a profile and an access they didn't have before. The other actionable insight really was guiding us in terms of pitch deck. So last week on Monday, when we had our first day of the year this year, we were joking that we didn't even understand this pitch deck business when we are asked, like, what is your pitch deck? But BfE took one of our pillars, which is giving young women access to online jobs, to digital skills for online jobs. And they prepared for us a pitch deck that went from what is Toolkit, why do we exist, which partners should we approach for that particular pillar. So they profiled like 6 companies, that international companies we should partner with. And they also really even gave us the areas of collaboration with those companies. So they assessed each and they were able to give very clear and concrete advice on where the synergies are between the Toolkit iSkills and those companies. They also helped us a lot in terms of how are we perceived. And I think one of the ways they explained to us, they gave us very good sound advice on how do we package our message? How are we understood? Because we are multifaceted in what we are doing. So their advice, I remember, was our mandate could either be oversimplified or misunderstood. So they asked us to refine that. So we are working with a communication expert to be able to refine that. So everything we got was practical, pragmatic, and something ready to use. So that's what I would say for us was really, really beneficial with this engagement.
That's great to hear, Jane. And I think, are there any steps that you would recommend to the newly accepted cohort that they can do to prepare for like the engagement?
Yes, I think to the new cohorts, I would suggest that you work with your lead director. Jill was great together with the team that she worked with. But I think it will be very helpful right from the start for the new entrepreneurs who have joined the program to understand the the wealth of experience and expertise that the students bring. Because in BfE, what we could find, you had some who are very good in marketing, some who are very good in drafting short summaries, some who are very good in research. Like even for the companies they paired us up with, they did the research. So I think it would be important for the new social entrepreneurs to take a bit of time and understand the resource that is at their service from BfE. I think that would help them a lot in being able to commit the time. The other one is that BfE is intensive, and it's important that you are responsive, you are open, and you can share your documents, your financials, when they request for additional information, we found the program very swift and responsive. And for a social enterprise to benefit, they have to be equally swift and responsive. So my advice would be like, just take time and provide the information. And I even forgot to mention that you did a very good projection of our financials per pillar. So that was also another quite like a very good analysis. So I would say that to all the new social enterprises, they have an exciting time ahead. And if they give it their attention and time, I think it will be a success like it's been for us.
Thank you, Jane. And I think just like last question in my end, what do you wish you knew before beginning the BfE engagement that you know now? I think you touched on this a bit earlier, but if you could expound on that.
Yeah, so I think what we wished we knew before, not that we wished we knew before, we already had that information because the information is shared by BfE. But I think being a free service to social enterprises, we felt a bit shy. We felt as if we would be demanding too much. So, and really the willingness of the BfE team to study, to research, to support, to really assist us in scaling our impact was overwhelming. So to the social enterprises, don't be shy to ask. These guys are easy, they are easy to talk to, don't even worry about the time difference, they are flexible. So please don't feel shy to ask. When we looked at the pitch deck, we were going through it last week and we thought, if we had been asked to pay an international consultant to get us to this, we could not afford as a social enterprise in the Global South. So this was really a very, very precious engagement. We value it a lot. And I think for the new social entrepreneurs, that our advice would be, don't feel shy, ask. You have a great team to work with from BfE.
All right, thank you so much, Jane. I'll pass it off to Jordan if you have any additional questions.
To introduce a very
Excellent. So that's the end of the video.
Yeah, thank you so much, Jason, for stepping in there to share your screen and play that. I hope it was useful for all the entrepreneurs on the call to hear from Jane and how she benefited from the program, any advice that she had for you all. I know we're already almost at time for the session and we're just now getting to the end, so you can all ask questions. So we may run over time. If you need to leave, that's totally fine. Again, the session is recorded and we'll share it afterwards. But if you do have any questions for us, Jason, myself, please, now is the time to catch us live on the call to ask them. So yeah, we'll just pause here and have this space open for any entrepreneurs or anyone else in attendance who wants to ask questions. I'll also, stop the recording now too.